How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of the Talk Sports Show with Alec Picado on Friday, January 12th, 2024. Let's get right into the show. Here's my way too early prediction for the Ohio State offense this year. At quarterback, if you didn't hear, Will Howard transferred to Ohio State, and he is projected to be the starting quarterback for Ohio State this year. Apologize for that. And in the running backs, transfer running back Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss. And then Travion Henderson may possibly be coming back for Ohio State. We don't know yet. It all depends on a lot of the key guys for Ohio State are coming back, but we don't know about Travion Henderson yet. So now wide receivers. Emeka Buka is coming back for Ohio State. And so is Emeka Buka's coming back. And then I think your other two receivers for Ohio State will be Carnell Tate, who is going into his sophomore year. Unless Ohio State gets a portal for wide receiver, I think Carnell Tate and Jane Ballard will be your wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 for Ohio State. Tight end, they did get a transfer from Ohio University, but I'm thinking the tight ends will be Jelani Thurman and Bennett Christian, who missed all of this year due to suspension. So then your offensive line on the left side, you've got Donovan Jackson in Scott McLaughlin. At center, Carson Hinsman. Right guard, I think it's going to be George Fitzpatrick. And at right tackle, Josh Fryer. And now here is 4 players to watch. My way too early 2024 players to watch for college football for next year. Number 1, Edric Houston, Ohio State. This kid, if you listened to Ryan Day's press conference when they signed Edric Houston on early signing day, Ryan Day came out and said that Edric Houston is going to make an immediate impact for Ohio State. And I would agree with that. I think he's going to be one of the best freshman defensive linemen in the country next year. Number 2, Byron Brown, South Florida. Now, you know how much I talked about him this year when he was a freshman. I think he's going to be even better as a sophomore. A redshirt sophomore at that. With another year under his belt, under the coaching tutelage of Alex Golish and his offense coordinator, I think he will take off and help USF win their conference. At number 3, I have Noah Fifita, Arizona. Now, if you don't know much about Noah Fifita, I don't blame you, because I didn't know much about him until he started being the starting quarterback for Arizona last year. And it just happens that he will be the starting quarterback for Arizona this year coming up as they go into the Big 12. And I watched a lot of film on Fifita. The kid can sling the rock around the field. And in number 4, Noah Rogers, former Ohio State wide receiver. He was a freshman this year. he entered the transfer portal and now he's at NC State. Due to the fact that Ohio State is just, if you look at Ohio State's wide receiver depth chart going into next year, they are loaded at wide receiver. They got Jeremiah Smith coming in. They got Ibuka coming back. Carnell Tate's going to be a sophomore. Brandon Ennis is going to be a sophomore. Jaden Ballard's going to probably get playing time. Mayan Graham, and I believe he's a wide receiver. So they were stacked at receiver. So losing Noah Rogers and Bryson Rogers didn't really hurt. And especially with Noah going to NC State, where I think he's going to have a really good year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've already subscribed, please leave a thumbs up on the video and a comment down below. Now, the second part of this show today, I will be going over win totals again for teams. The first one is UTSA. I will be going over, I think they're going to win 7 or 8 games without Frank Harris, and here is their schedule for next year. Oh, I didn't. So, UTSA starts the year at home against Kennesaw State. I think they win that. So they're 1-0. I think they beat Texas State. So they're 2-0. Then they get Texas. At Texas. DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. And I think they lose to Texas. So they're 2-1. Then they play Houston Christian. I think they beat Houston Christian, so they're 3-1. Now you get into conference play. And here's the thing. Their first conference game is at Army. And I don't really... I think they lose to Army. So they're 3-2. They beat East Carolina 4-2. They beat Rice 5-2. Beat Tulsa 6-2. Lose to Florida Atlantic 6-3. Lose to Memphis 6-4. Beat North Texas 7-4. And beat Temple 8-4. So I think UTSA will go 8-4 next year. And again, ladies and gentlemen, these are way too early predictions. So here's Memphis's 2024 schedule, and I have them winning anywhere from 9 to 10 games. So week 1, they play at home against North Alabama. I think that's a win. So they're 1-0. Then they play Troy at home, 2-0. Then they play at Florida State. I think that's where they take their first loss of the year, so they're 2-1. No need to worry. They get right back on the winning track, and they beat Middle Tennessee State. They beat Middle Tennessee, so they're now 3-1. Then they play UAB at home. I think that's a win, 4-1. Play Charlotte at home, win, 5-1. North Texas at home, win, 6-1. I think they lose to Rice 6-2. Lose to Navy 6-3. Beat Tulane 7-3. Yeah, 7-3. Lose at USF 7-4. And then beat UTSA 8-4. No, that doesn't seem right. I'm going to go back over that. So, week 1, they beat North Alabama 1-0. They beat Troy 2-0. Lose to Florida State 2-1. Beat Middle Tennessee 3-1. beat UAB 4-1, beat Charlotte 5-1, beat North Texas 6-1, beat Rice 7-1, lose to Navy 7-2, beat Tulane 8-2, lose to USF 8-3, and lose to beat UTSA. So they're 9-2. I'm gonna go back over it one more time because I think my numbers are a little off. So they beat North Alabama 1-0, beat Troy 2-0. They lose to FSU, so that's 2-1. Beat Middle Tennessee 3-1. 4-1 after they beat UAB. 5-1 after they beat Charlotte. I think they lose to North Texas, so that's 5-2. Lose to Rice 5-3. Beat Navy 6-3. Beat Tulane 7-3. Lose to USF 7-4 and beat UTSA 8-4. The next team is Arkansas. So let's go back in here. Get that off of there. So Arkansas week 1, they play at home against UABP. Arkansas Pine Bluff win. At Oklahoma State, loss. So they're 1-1. They beat UAB 2-1. Beat Auburn 3-1. And then they lose to Texas A&M 4-2. Lose to Tennessee 4-3. Lose to LSU 4-4. Beat Mississippi State 5-4. Lose to Ole Miss 5-5. Lose to Texas 5-6. Beat Louisiana Tech 6-6. And lose at Missouri. So they finished 6-6 on the year. That seems. I think that's where Arkansas is going to finish. Is 6-6, which is good enough to make a bowl game. UCF is next, and their win total is 8 or 9 games. So UCF, they start the year at home against New Hampshire. I think that's a win. So they're 1-0. Then they get Sam Houston State. I also think that's a win. Sam Houston Bearcats. I think that's a win. So they're 2-0. At Florida, win 3-0. Arizona State, at Arizona State, loss 3-1. At Iowa State, win 4-1. 5-1 after they beat TCU. Now they've got Arizona at home. I think that's a loss of 5-2. Beat 6-2. I think they lose to Utah, so they're 6-3. Beat Colorado 7-3. Beat Cincinnati 8-3. And lose to West Virginia 8-4. So I think UCF goes 8-4. And then the last team is Arizona. Arizona starts at home against New Mexico. And I think they beat New Mexico. Then they play Northern Arizona, so they're 1-0. I think they beat Northern Arizona 2-0. At Kansas State, win, because we don't know that much about Avery Johnson yet, because he's going to be the full-time starting quarterback at K-State. But I think that's a win, so they're 3-0. Then they play Arizona State at home. That is going to be a win. So they're now 4-0. I think Here's where I think they take their first loss at Colorado, so they're 4-1. Watch out, Texas Tech could be another loss, and I think it will be. So they're 4-2. I think they beat Houston 5-2. Beat West Virginia 6-2. Lose to BYU 6-3. Beat TCU 7-3. Beat UCF 7-3. And they go 8-3 after they beat Utah. So an 8-3 season for Arizona. So again, they beat New Mexico, beat Northern Arizona, beat Kansas State, beat Arizona State, so that's 4 now. Lose to Colorado 4-1, lose to Texas Tech 4-2, beat Houston 5-2, beat West Virginia 6-2, lose to BYU 6-3, beat TCU 7-3, lose to beat UCF 8-3, and beat Utah 9-3. So that's my correction. They actually go 9-3, with their losses being to Colorado, Texas Tech, and UCF. And ladies and gentlemen, that was it for the Talk Sports Show here on Friday, January 12th. I will see y'all on Monday for the Talk Sports Show. It'll be a larger episode, longer in length. We will have more things to talk about. But if you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and comment down below. And I will see y'all on Monday. That'll do it for me. Peace.